Hey Richard, welcome to Lowcode Cafe. So why don't you give a brief introduction about yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Richard. I'm from Hamburg, Germany. I'm responsible for the Appian platform, especially for Accenture, where I'm working for. I'm responsible for the ASG region there, which means Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. And yeah, every Appian topic comes across my table in that section. So yeah, that's professionally part. Privately, I'm 30 years old. Yeah, like I said, I'm living in Hamburg. I'm interested in doing sports, reading a lot, every techie topic which is out there. I'm trying to dig in a bit. So yeah, a lot of different topics, but yeah, that's me.
Okay, that's a fantastic introduction. So let's start with maybe a bit of professional side of yours. So like what industries have you worked in? What all applications have you developed? Or if you want to mention some clients where you have bought a huge ROI.
Yeah, sure. My professional career, I started kind of with my study program in Bamberg. That's a kind of mid-sized town, not super well known, but super historical. And I started there. And after that, I joined a company in Munich. They created their own application development platform in small scale based on BPMN processes. And yeah, it was my first jump into the professional world. We developed systems for banking companies, usually for ones which are in the like car leasing section. And yeah, that was my first jump. How to do a project, what should you do if you got a requirement, you should challenge it, just implement it. And that was my first steps into that world. After that, I had just a short jump into the SAP world. Wasn't for me that particularly. In 2017, I started to become an Appian developer and worked at first on a Dutch healthcare provider, which was focused on treating feeds. And yeah, from that, there we met, by the way, and on a project there. And yeah, after that, I joined Hamburg banking client. During that time, I was still a service provider, but after that, I joined the client itself. It was a bank for credit and leasing, especially in the car sector. And we implemented a lot of different systems for that client, from lead systems onto, yeah, if you apply for a credit, that you get like the checks for the credit, and that an employer can say, okay, it's fine, he get it or he doesn't get it, and continues until like travel expense reimbursements system. We have a lot of different use cases there, and I took this experience, which I learned in previous steps, now into yeah, my new company, Accenture, currently.
Okay, that's a great story. So I think you have worked in different IT domains and you have worked in various industries as you told, like banking, insurance, healthcare. So I think that's really great. So I want to mostly focus on the low code development part. So according to you, like what are the perks of low code that you're enjoying right now? Like you started your career in low code around 2017 and it's 2022, so
Yeah.
it's already quite half a
After
decade kind of journey. So like what perks are you enjoying being a local developer?
usually there are two sections. Like for me as local developer, or one who's learning it, and one for clients. I start with the one who's like doing it, developing local applications. Yeah, I'm usually not the deep development programmer guy. I started in a study program which called Information Systems Management. So the focus was more on IT controlling, how to do projects. We learned a bit the basics, like how to use SQL, how to use the basics of Java, but always with the sense to, yeah, you get a basic understanding, that you know if you are working with a Java developer, you know what they're struggling with and stuff like that, but that's it. You should not become a real Java programmer. That was not the core of that study program. So I had a quite basic understanding, but yeah, that's it. And yeah, that was the region we are coming from. So I never planned to become programmer, so Appian gave me that opportunity. Or in general, I think low-code platforms giving you as person the possibility to become and start a career with a basic understanding of technology into becoming a real programmer. It's low-code programmer in that case. So it's always like easy to start, hard to master. So the first steps are always easy, and then there is a rabbit hole. You start digging and you cannot finish, as there are always upgrades to that platforms. There are always new features. Even if you're like work 5 years with it, you get like on a regular basis new features, new updates, and all features are changed in their functionality. So it's never, you cannot stop learning that platform. And to jump to that second part, which is like benefit for the client, is exactly, it just works. I love that sentence in that context. If you implement a feature which the platform is providing you, text field, showing a document, an image, whatever, if you implement this certain piece of functionality, it just works, and you don't have to check it again and again and again. If the context is still in a basic like frame or road, and you're using it in the best practices context, you should know that it's working. It's not like kind of big Java programmer and you have perhaps to recheck dozens of times the context or something. No, it's on the maintaining level, on the creating level, on later on the real life running level. I miss a bit the word here, sorry, but on the real production, being a live application, the system is working with the functionality you implemented there. It just works, and that, and that's really a huge benefits to clients there. So you have always this development side and benefits for client side, and that's I love low code for that.
Yeah, absolutely, I completely agree to that idea. The learning curve in actually in this low code learning part, I think it's very less as compared to the traditional development part, which actually gives chance to developers, or let's say chance to people who have interest in doing the web development and they just don't know where to start. So I think low code platforms gives that path really easy. It makes it easy groundwork for them to really start, and then of course they can master themselves as then when they grow. But the learning curve is really small, hence I think this is providing the change that was required. Probably it's another stepping stone actually that has enabled many people to now jump into the development part of the web apps development. And of course the other part that you said, the part where the clients are having high ROI, because the go-to-market time has been reduced due to such out-of-the-box components that you have been speaking about, that you can just drag and drop a text field, drag and drop a paragraph field, and that's done, right? So you don't have to worry that, okay, these piece of blocks that are already present or given by this platform are, they might have some bugs, or no. These are 100% tested, and you can simply use them to accelerate the development for the client. So I think the go-to-market for clients and the learning curve for developers are, I think, the two major perks what we can speak about. Anyway, so
I just want to jump into that drag and drop thing. That's a good example how low the barrier is becoming a low-code developer, but that doesn't mean you're like limited to that drag and drop function.
Yes,
if you need like additional functionality, so it's just an easy start to like get a feeling where I do want to have what kind of functionality on what area on my let's say interface and want to interact with. But then you see, oh, I'm missing there, for example, a specific type of functionality, and you are free to really go on kind of like a little bit code level more, and then to change it there and to improve it on that level. So it's like really the easy step is like drag and dropping, but you're not limited to that. You can like extend it to, I need more functionality. So I really can even start easy but building even complicated applications there. That's like a really like a good thing we should never forget about this platform. It's not like limited to super easy scenarios. You can really build complex scenarios with that as well, and there you're really on a kind of like code level as well, and you can do a lot of things and features with these platforms, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's probably a myth in the market that low-code tools are just drag and drop and you cannot really extend these platforms. But I think in today's time, like we both have extensive Appian experience, and at least we can say for Appian that Appian is not limited, or you cannot say that Appian is limited to only develop only smaller applications. Any type of applications in a perfect shape can be built on Appian. So platform as an individual is not limited right now. You can extensively integrate it, extensively collaborate with any other tool and create the application that you want. Absolutely. I mean, I created one more post on LinkedIn which was busting 5 myths around low code, in which I actually mentioned this particular point where such kind of myths are being targeted. All right. So like, I want to know, like, according to you, how low code is providing the power to the citizen development. So we are hearing these buzzwords like citizen development, anyone can become a developer. So how, according to you, like, how can they become? I mean, if someone has an interest and want to start into the low code journey, then how he or she may do?
Yeah, for that, I just wanted to start with the usual old world scenario. Usually you have a subject matter expert, which is an expert on just the business side, how things should work or are working on a business level. And then you have like these deep technical experts, and usually your main target was somehow we have to bring them together to collaborate with them. They have to deal with each other. Usually we have a kind of culture clash with a different mentality, and they need a same language to exchange there. And it was like a heck lot of work. This concept of citizen development is like you kind of enable these subject matter experts to build their own applications. So that means if they are like interested or have a kind of basic tech background, or just interested in learning new things, and they have a kind of basic logical thinking and stuff like that, the limit that they learn to build a new application is super low. Like you mentioned kind of drag and drop already, as that's the easiest kind of approach you can take. Like, I want to have a specific field there on the screen, so I just drag and drop it with my mouse to that specific position, and then whatever I do some settings with it and customizing with it, and then it's fine. But so the barrier for these subject matter experts is super low starting it. And then you have a huge advantage. You can kind of like, you don't have this communication break anymore. You have this guy or woman who knows exactly what to do there. They are the expert on that field, so they can create their technical applications how they like to have it, how these applications are fitting their needs, especially on the basic level. The moment they need more specific and more complicated requirements, as they are like dealing with these requirements by themselves, they're way more used to tell, for example, the real full-time developer what they need, because they got like the vocabulary, the feeling as they're doing it by themselves, how they need to articulate their business requirement in a user story, for example. Or then they get way more feeling how to communicate with the other department. And yeah, the same is with the IT department. They start more like understanding what the business requirements are, as they can see what they are building, what they're creating. They have a glimpse into their world, kind of like, because they translated it already in a kind of like technical application, and they okay, that was what I need, and I start understanding it. So you reduce this communication barrier here, and you enable the subject matter expert to build their own things, and that's the easiest way to have application which fits the requirements. That's always the target. You need functionality which is really benefiting the business unit, and that's the overall target. And the best way is business unit can build by themselves, or with a bit support, a more complicated one, and so on. But then that's the best guarantee that you fit their requirements, as they know it best by themselves.
Absolutely. I think the synergies of the core development team and the business people are getting more and more merged into each other with this low code thing, because this is actually removing the barrier and allowing the clients to get more involved into the development part. And if this happens, then definitely the end product that is developed, the end ROI that you get as a client, I think it's much, much more.
Exactly. Same opinion about that.
Okay. So coming on to like we have talked about synergies, we have talked about the perks. So what do you like the most about Appian as a tool?
Yeah, Appian as a tool,
or maybe
it always
what
gets
most interesting you find about Appian?
They really care about features for clients and features for developers. It's not only we need an extension for we need a new feature as to please the client that he can create the system he wanted. And no, it's on top improving the quality of life kind of for a developer. On every 3 months, you know there's something new in there for you. And if I compare it like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, or there's changed so many stuff, and they're reworking it on kind of regular basis, and you always have to learn the new concepts they are introducing, and it's always with sense and sensually extended. And that's something almost every low-code platform I dealt with has in common, that is like listening to customers and extending the variety of features these platforms are providing. And it's always kind of, okay, what's on the market, and we need to dig in the new area, like RPA, which is a huge buzzword currently, like document OCR capabilities in the Appian context called IDP, and so on. And yeah, they are always extending and looking what's going on. And with this regular update circle, they are free to introduce every now and then a game-changing feature to their platforms. And that's something all platforms almost have in common, that they're extending, they're renewing. They know that toolbox never is possible, that this toolbox stops to evolving, as there are new desires out there for new features, for new trends out there like RPA and so on, and they try to extend their capabilities. It never stops. So even if a feature cannot be implemented today as a specific function or service is missing, you can bet on if they will introduce it perhaps in 6 months time or the 3 months time as new feature for your platform, and then suddenly it's possible. So you are not even forced to the hard boundaries of your platform. Is not hard in that sense, as they are extended all the time. And so you can reevaluate specific use cases every now and then. Again, if it's then possible, perhaps.
Yeah, that's a great explanation, actually. So I completely agree to that idea. I mean, I really like that thing that every quarter you have a new release, and that new release makes your life easier. Whether a client, whether a developer, it does not matter. It is a 360-degree upgrade that you get in the platform, which basically helps you to develop faster again and to have all those ROIs that you can ask for in the platform. Okay, so like now we have talked more about this Appian thing. So what are your recommendations or sources where you learn more of Appian stuff? Like you have Appian community, you have LinkedIn. So what are like 3 to 4 go-to sources that you will say that helps you enable your knowledge, enable continuous learning in Appian?
2 things, especially I personally do, or 3 things. One is really exchanging with direct colleagues. Like if you're building an application, every programmer, doesn't matter if low-code or not low-code, has his own style. There are certain best practices you're following usually, but within these like boundaries, you usually have a kind of specific style you're on your own. And if you have an exchange or checking code of other developers as peer review, or just, hey, they ask you or you ask them, give me some input on that, how to solve it. If you have like a real exchange on an expert level, you really get new insights and ideas how to solve things. Second thing, and that's kind of similar, but it's not limited to your own company experts. It's like an exchange in the Appian community, especially. There are a lot of really expert developers, architects, which are giving you, if you have a specific issue, they try to give you an honest feedback and an honest input on that, I learned certain things there just by reading their answers to specific topics, as yeah, I would have solved it differently, but yeah, I like you way more how to do it, and I think it's smarter how to do it. So yeah, I put it in my own toolbox, this approach, you know. And last but not least, I redo on some basis the Appian Academy, which means they have basic ideas how they want you use their tools. Which means they have a basic idea when they're introducing a specific function, and they're explaining these functions in the Appian Academy pretty well and in the documentation, naturally. So I try really to on a regular basis redo some lessons, or do it basically. Sometimes you just jump a lesson, or sometimes say, oh, you do it later. Then I really try to come back and really watch the videos. Usually I know 90-95% of the content, but then you have this like 5 to 10% that say, yeah, good idea. I never thought about that way. And then you get like better feeling for the concepts and ideas of the platform. And that's really, I really can recommend people do the lessons again with your new knowledge, and you get a better understanding for the explanation compared to your absolute start. If you get an explanation in the very beginning, you understand it differently. If you have like up to 5 years experience already with it, then you understand it totally different sometimes. You're like, oh yeah, they already mentioned it there. I never realized that kind of. And yeah, that's the part I can really academy community exchange with your peers. That are my three recommendations there.
If I summarize what I understood from your words, it's like more of collaborations and brainstorming through different sources, whether it's peer, whether it's academy, whether it's Appian community. It's just collaboration and brainstorming that you're doing, networking with the people that is enabling actually your knowledge.
Challenge your own ways all the time. Not be stuck out. I have found the best solution or best way for everything. Challenge it. If you think you found the best way, challenge it with your peers or with the community or whatever. Then, because if you have the opinion, I know every perfect way, latestly the next update is coming, then you're gone. So kind of you cannot not challenge you or yourself all the time. Then you're like stuck into your ways, and that's like not a good way in any case.
Yeah, and I even remember our old days where you actually said, I mean, we basically discussed a lot about these kind of peer discussions that we had, where you said, hey, this function is deprecated. Why are you even using it? I said that no, it is coming from legacy that I used to use these functions, and hence I'm again continuing with it. So those discussions definitely improved both of our knowledge at that time in that project.
I saw a lot of your LinkedIn posts from the accelerator program, Lowcode Cafe. You have a lot of things there ongoing. I really loved your how I learned my previous mistakes, like 5 slides. I can really recommend these. Awesome work there. But how did you start there? What is your, how do you define your work there? What's
So actually, I would say that the content creation hobby, it was just a side hustle or a hobby earlier. But with this LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program, it actually becomes part of my day. And while starting my new venture, I thought that I can fulfill 2 of my aims. One is to, strengthen the low-code community by providing whatever I have and share it with the community. So again, the approach of collaboration and brainstorming is the way I think you can go ahead to basically bootstrap with other people. Okay, it gives you n number of opportunities to learn, and of course, deal with different countries, people, like projects with Germany, projects with US, UK. So it gives you a bit more wider exposure. So that's one thing that what I'm doing with this content creation on LinkedIn, that is I'm trying to share as much knowledge as I have over this, and the conversations that have been created in this particular 5 weeks of period have been really amazing. Okay, so I've been in touch with few of the junior developers who are looking for mentorship in Appian, and I'm more than happy to help them out over there. And I have been connected to some of the senior guys that I haven't been in touch, but they also appreciate the work that I'm doing, and they also say that, hey, why don't we collaborate to maybe create a podcast, maybe create a blog, maybe create something that basically enables to strengthen this low-code community. So that's one of the aims. And the second aim is it's related to the first one only, but it's more in a commercial end, that I want to basically bridge the gap between the industry and the Appian guys. So there are a lot of freshers or graduates who are really interested in this low-code tool, or low-code development, but they don't know where to start, or they don't have that optimum guided path of Appian training or low-code training in that direction. Someone wants to join Pega, someone finds Salesforce interesting, someone finds Mendix interesting. So it depends on choice to choice and their experience in the market. But I basically try to enable them in collaborating with those people who are actually the trainers, who are educating in this field, and I'm trying to collaborate with each one of them to basically bridge this gap. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do with this content creation thing actually. And the Appe thing that I am doing is one of the arm for Appe is this education arm, and I'm trying to enable that arm using this.
Yeah, pretty awesome context there. Yeah, basically, you mentioned the people who are starting their job. Are you seeing yourself more as professor in a kind of like university, or where do you see for people who are like already graduated and then they get their first step into the working world? Where do you see yourself in that whole context?
So I definitely not see myself just as a professor, but more of as a mentor. So like if you talk about tier 2 and tier 3 colleges in India, not just the top ones, but for the below engineering colleges, then in there graduates even don't know what is low code. Okay, there is absolutely like no information about that there are such technologies that are existing and are emerging and are creating so many jobs, and they just don't know much about it. And if you are, let's say you are from core IT background or core CS background field, then only you'll be able to dive it in. No, that's not the case, right? Low code is enabling the people who are having the interest and will to learn the programming in a different manner. It is giving an easy pathway to get enter in. So that's what I'm trying to do over here, act as a mentor to help guys upskill themselves and meet the industry standard. So industry is requiring like lot of low code developers right at the moment, and obviously you also feel that there is a huge gap, and I think I'm trying to fill this gap by doing that mentorship.
Yeah, cool. That's nice idea. And your LinkedIn presence, I have often the feeling you try to pull in a lot of like peer insights from other developers, from other regions, even on that. How do you think, how important is it to bring communities together if they have like a centralized point to exchange? Usually there are forums like the community and something, but that's a kind of really like company focused exchange. How do you think? I'm from a different company than you are. You are from a different company than the next peer. But how important is it for you to have exchange regardless of the company context of competition to each other? How important is it for you to create a forum for that, or how you do it to create a forum for that?
Yeah, so I think the low code cafe thing that I'm doing is kind of revolving around the same, that I'm trying to bring people from different regions and share their thoughts and ideas and knowledge around certain things that we talk about here. So it's regardless whether you are from company A, if I'm company from B, but I'm trying to, using these video podcasts, I'm trying to enable that or bridge that gap. And then of course I am supporting the idea that there should be a common forum, but I think like Appian community is one of those forums which are official from Appian, but I think there can be more integrated forums that could enable this knowledge sharing in a much easier fashion. Maybe just Appian community, you have to have an Appian account, right? This community account to get to the Appian Academy resources, to get to the certain other resources, I believe. But I think if this knowledge could be a little bit more free, where people can be able to more collaborate, maybe by a blog, so maybe by something, I think that's a really good idea to enable bridging this gap.
But you talked now about enablement. What does the LinkedIn Accelerator program play as role in that enablement for you? Just by getting attention, or in what sense gives you there some kind of benefit? What's the benefit you're getting from that?
So I would, let's say, name top 2 benefits. Okay, number 1, from my personal experience, as I said, that content creation was just a side hustle for me. IT and content creation, these are 2 different streams, right? So being an IT guy, still doing content creation, it was just a side hustle for me. And LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program actually helped me, mentored me to do at least 4 posts a week on LinkedIn. So that is the target that I'm achieving every week since last 5 weeks. Okay, so that's how it is getting embedded as a part of my day. So earlier content creation was, oh, I have to create 4 posts a week. Now that's not the case. It is becoming more and more embedded inside my way of working actually. Okay, so that's point number one, the benefit number one that I got. Second is I'm having different set of mentors that are there in LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program that helps you guide how to create content. Like there, while creating content, you see that, oh, there are only 23 likes or 24 likes that you're getting less comments. So they tell us or they guide us in throughout that journey that how to, see at a wider angle. Okay, rather than just sticking to a particular post. Oh, I got 23 likes. No, I'm not creating content on LinkedIn. No, that's not the case. If they actually, I'm learning a new skill of this content creation, if I should say, that this 10 weeks is enabling me to at least create 40 posts in this, like 4 posts a week, plus trying more type of content like podcasts, carousels, polls, document, blogs, etc. So it's a kind of learning curve that is helping me in this content creation.
Awesome. And how support this content creation itself you by the mission of enablement you mentioned, or to bring community together? How does support this content creation you with that, or is it just the base, perhaps even the basis of that, or how you connecting these topics?
No, actually, see, as I told, the app base is this Appian, or not say Appian, but low-code technology enablement or education, low-code technology education, you can say. So this content creation is definitely spreading out my word to all the different people that yes, there is, someone who is trying to do this enablement. And as I told, that there are huge number of conversations that have been triggered due to these posts. Okay, these posts might not have 1,000 likes or 100 comments, etc. But such meaningful conversations have been sparked that I am really enjoying now. I'm motivated to create more and more content because of these kind of conversations. So yeah, that could be it.
Awesome.
Okay, Richard. So just one final question from my end. Can you tell me some of the funny moments you had while working with Appian? Any kind of aha moments?
I got one story in my bag. I started 2019 in a new in-house development position. So I brought already some knowledge. No, it was 2020. I already brought almost three and a half years of knowledge of Appian with me. So I was counted as senior lead, experienced level. And I was there like my second week. And so it's pretty new, and previously I was like an external service provider, so they know my skills and they know me, and I managed to kill the dev environment within this second week. And it's pretty hard to do in platforms like Appian, that you really have to be creative to crush them down. But I managed to create a request which checked a lot of elements in the system, and what I didn't know, every time this check was not successful, it wrote an instance in the log files. So I managed to create like 5 gigabytes of log files, and the system was not created for dealing with so much log files, like we usually in the megabyte size. And yeah, the system said, yeah, it's fine that you gave me 5 gigabyte log files, but I cannot deal with it, and I crashed down. So it was a super good first expression there of my Appian knowledge skills, I know a way how to crush a system until today. So yeah,
maybe I can create a post in collaboration with you, how to crash Appian systems.
Exactly. Can you give an introduction for that? So yeah, and you have really usually to be super creative to find a way to crash that, because they are so resilient for every nonsense you're doing. They usually they show you an error message or something like that you really crush the systems. Is really like an achievement until today, and never happened before and never since then, but and now away until now.
Okay, that's really great. 5 gigabytes of log file in just 2 weeks by a senior developer.
2 weeks? No, created within like 30 seconds. But
okay.
No, but I in my second week I was like creating that. So created was like in 30 seconds until a minute, but not more, because I created a function which was creating that many log files.
Okay, that's really creative, really creative. But anyway, I really enjoyed talking to you, Richard. We just shared a few of our past memories as well. So it was a pleasure having you on Lowcode Cafe. Any last thoughts for conclusion?
I enjoyed it myself. Greetings from Hamburg. So we're really international low-code cafe today. So yeah, enjoyed it myself as well.
Okay, Richard. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.